What's up guys, Aaron here, back with another video. In today's video we're going to be doing the full review of the Samsung Gear S smartwatch. Now first we're going to cover the things that I don't like about the watch, and then we're going to get into some of the things that I do like. Now these things that I don't like about the watch could also be considered the things that I'd like to see added to the next generation Gear S. Without further delay, let's begin the full review of the Samsung Gear S smartwatch. The first thing I don't like about the watch is there is no camera. Now this wouldn't have been such a big deal if the other previous Gear smartwatches didn't have a camera in them previously. Now to my knowledge, the only Samsung watch that wasn't released with the camera was the Gear Live. So in my opinion, not having a camera on the Gear S is actually taking a step backwards. When a product's more expensive than the previous version, you expect to see more features and not less. Now obviously a camera on a smartwatch is not a necessity, however it just adds to the overall cool and wow factor of the watch, and can come in handy if you're not close to your smartphone and just want to capture a quick picture of something. Now the next thing that I don't like about the watch is there is no Google Now support. So having an Android Wear device myself, I am used to having Google Now, and that is a huge factor and a huge feature on an Android Wear smartwatch. A smartwatch acts as a secondary device to your smartphone, and it just feels extremely natural to use your voice to interact with your watch. And for that exact reason, and Google Now integration, is why the smartwatches running Android Wear perform so well. Now I understand that Samsung chose to implement their own operating system Tizen, which only allows the use of S-Voice for voice command interactions, which is extremely poor quality in comparison to Google Now. The next thing that I don't like about this watch is there is no IR blaster. Now I've got used to controlling my TV with my Gear 2 smartwatch, however Samsung chose to remove the IR blaster in the Gear S model. Definitely not a deal breaker, but it's just something that I would have liked to see implemented. Now another thing that I don't like about the watch is that it only works with a limited number of Samsung compatible devices. Now I understand that Samsung is trying to build a larger ecosystem, however I think forcing people into that ecosystem is the wrong approach. I'd love to see the Gear S running Android or even Android Wear, allowing it to work with more devices and utilize more features. Now being able to use the Gear S with the LG G3, the HTC One M8, or even the OnePlus One would be awesome. The next thing that I don't like about this watch is the battery life. Samsung claims that you get 2 days of usage on a single charge, which I've personally only experienced 1 full day of usage, which I think is rather unacceptable, and I'd like to see 3 to 4 day battery life for any smartwatch on any wearable device period. Now the bigger and brighter the screen, the more it's going to drain the battery, so with this big 2-inch curved display I could see why battery life is a little short. However, that is something else that I don't like about the watch. Now the next thing that I don't like about the watch is the price. Now the Gear S is the most expensive smartwatch that's currently available. Now, there's also 2 different purchasing options. You can buy the watch from your carrier for a subsidized price, or you can buy the watch outright. Now on AT&T, if you finance the watch, which comes with a 2-year contract, it's going to run you $199, then $10 a month to add it to your mobile share plan. Now you might be asking, why do you need a 2-year contract with a watch? And the answer to that is simple, and that's because it's considered a smartphone and a standalone smartwatch. Now one of the biggest reasons that it's labeled a standalone device is that it has its own phone number. Now if you purchase the Gear S outright, it's going to cost you $299. Now that might seem rather expensive, but you have to remember that you're not buying an accessory when you get the Gear S. You're buying a whole new smartphone. Now it's labeled a standalone device and an actual smartphone because it lets you make and receive calls, check and respond to emails, and check and respond to text messages using a full keyboard, and also for the fact that it utilizes its own phone number. And the last thing that I don't like about the watch is there is currently no metal bands available. Now I've heard several rumors of Samsung releasing both a silver and gold metal band for the Gear S watch, which I think would be absolutely amazing. Now I'm not sure how good the gold one would look, however I think the silver one would look extremely appealing. So at the time of recording this video, there is no metal bands available. However, I have heard that Samsung is working on it. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the things that I do like about the Gear S. And first off, I like the display. The display on the Gear S is absolutely beautiful. The curved 2-inch Super AMOLED display is the best display on the Samsung smartwatch and on any smartwatch period. With a resolution of 360 by 480, the Gear S display is truly stunning. Now off-axis and outdoor viewing is excellent, and the screen responsiveness is equally as excellent, with true automatic brightness included thanks to the ambient light sensor, as well as a UV sensor located at the bottom of the screen, flanking the home button. The left side of the watch houses a small pinhole microphone for voice actions and making calls, while a small speaker grill sits on the right side for sound output. Now the next thing that I like about the watch is the overall build quality. Now the watch is built with precise attention to detail, the band is extremely comfortable, and the curved 2-inch display contours perfectly to your wrist, and the clasp mechanism works great. You don't have to worry about the watch coming apart or falling off while you're running or exercising. Now the Gear S features an accelerometer, a gyroscope, a compass, a heart rate monitor, an ambient light sensor, a UV sensor, and features turn-by-turn directions with GPS, S-Health, and a full QWERTY keyboard. Now the Gear S has a 300 milliamp hour battery, USB 2.0, Bluetooth 4.1, Wi-Fi 802.11b, and N, and features a dual-core 1.0 gigahertz processor with 512 megabytes of RAM, 4 gigabytes of internal memory. The next thing that I like about the watch is that it's IP67 certified, which means it's dust and water resistant up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. It's also very nice having that peace of mind of knowing that if an unexpected shower or rainfall occurs, that you don't have to worry about your device being ruined by the unexpected weather. Now another thing that I really like about this watch is the GPS and navigation features. Being able to view a map on your wrist and get voice-activated turn-by-turn directions is a perfect example of how a smartwatch can be really useful. Google Glass is the only method I've found to be more convenient when accessing GPS and navigation functionalities on the go. However, that's saying a lot for the Gear S, as the Gear S costs around $300, where Google Glass will cost you somewhere around the range of $1,500 plus. So GPS and navigation on the Gear S is one of its best features. The next thing that I like about the Gear S is the connectivity. The Gear S has 3 separate connection modes: Bluetooth, which connects the watch via Bluetooth, which allows the Gear S to receive notifications and calls from the connected smartphone, and you can use all the Gear S and Gear Manager functions. The next connection option is connected remotely, and in this particular pairing method, the Gear S is not connected to the smartphone via Bluetooth, but is still connected to the smartphone via the wireless network. And the last connection option is standalone, which means the watch is not connected to the smartphone and is operating as a standalone device, and the Gear S will only send and receive notifications and calls from the Gear S phone number. Now in all the tests that I ran, I had absolutely 0 problems receiving notifications or making and receiving calls on the Gear S. And it never lost Bluetooth connection to my Note 4 or my Note Edge. Now the next thing that I like about the watch is the user interface. And the user interface consists of pages to the left of the home screen, which is going to be to view and display your notifications, and the pages on the right of the home screen that are going to display your widgets. And you can swipe upwards from the bottom of the screen to view applications, while at any time you can swipe down from the top of the display to go back to the previous screen. To open S-Voice, just press the home button 2 times. Now after opening up S-Voice for the first time, all you have to do from then on is say "Hi Gear" anytime the screen is on to wake up S-Voice. Double tap any screen with 2 fingers to view the volume controls, the screen brightness, as well as other useful information. The user interface is extremely nice. When we swipe over to the right, our first page is going to be our music player. Next we have our pedometer, as well as basically all of our S-Health information. Next up we have our news feed, which in my opinion looks extremely awesome on this 2-inch curved display. It has like a round kind of Rolodex look to it. We have scheduled events, which I have no events scheduled. On this screen we can add another widget if we wanted to. Now swiping to the left is going to give us our notifications, and we're able to respond to those using a full QWERTY keyboard. Now swiping over again, we can see that we are greeted with our notifications a little bit more in depth. That way we can read them and actually respond if we want to. Now in terms of the applications, you can see we have a spot up here in a recent apps drawer. Now we have a phone dialer here. Now as you can see, the phone dialer and numeric pad is big enough to easily operate. We have our contacts, our messages, our email, S-Health or schedule, our Nike running or weather, our music player, our Milk music player, our navigation and GPS, our news briefing, our gallery, an alarm clock, our settings, find my device, and S-Voice. Now one of the third-party applications that I recommend you download right away is Opera, which is a full web browser on the Gear S. Now here's what your full QWERTY keyboard looks like if you're going to be responding to an email. Now one thing that's awesome about this keyboard is that it's a predictive typing keyboard, so it's going to predict the words that you type on a regular basis. Now here's a closer look at the UV sensor as well as the ambient light sensor located next to the home button. On the interior of the watch is the heart rate sensor as well as the built-in SIM card slot. Now the band has a very soft texture to it. It contours very nicely to your wrist. Now the clasp is able to be adjusted into any one of these holes. So as you can see, all you need to do is pop it out and adjust this up and down to fit your wrist. And we also have these very nice polished chamfered edges that go across the entire screen that make it look somewhat like a mini smartphone on your wrist. Now the Gear Manager application is something that needs to be downloaded for the Gear S to work properly. Now once you've downloaded it, this is going to be your one-stop shop to changing and applying different watch faces, as well as adding applications. And this is also going to be the spot where you choose which notifications come through to your smartwatch. Now here we're in the home screen styler option, which lets you change the background of your wallpapers. And you can go here to clock. As you can see, we have different clock faces that actually get applied in real time to the smartwatch. Now, there's different ones here, and these are ones that are available from Samsung. However, there are third-party applications and watch faces that will be available very soon. Now, taking a closer look at this particular watch face that I'm using now, you can see that it actually displays vital information. So as you can see, it's showing my battery percentage here in the top. It's showing me how many steps I've taken today here on the left, the date here on the right, and how many notifications I have on the bottom. So in conclusion, I've had nothing but good things to say about the Samsung Gear S smartwatch. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned some of the things that I didn't like about the watch. However, I also mentioned that those could also be considered things that I'd like to see on the next generation Gear S smartwatch. Now, if you guys would like to see an update video once I install a metal band on the Gear S, let me know by hitting that thumbs up button down below and leaving a comment down in the comment section. Now, I've owned every Samsung smartwatch that they've released so far. This is my favorite watch and my go-to watch every day. So I think Samsung really hit the nail on the head with this smartwatch, and this is definitely the most feature-rich and best smartwatch in my opinion out on the market today. It definitely trumps any other smartwatch in terms of features and in terms of the display size and quality. So if you're in the market for a new smartwatch and you're looking for the best on the market, I'd say there's no other choice but the Samsung Gear S. Now, there's a ton of things that I like about the Gear S smartwatch. However, the last thing that I'd like to mention that I like about this watch is the charging cradle. Now, I'm not a huge fan of how hard it is to get on and off. However, what I do like about this charging cradle is that it also holds a charge and acts as a secondary power source for your Gear S while you're on the go and can't make it to an outlet. Now, as you can see, we have the charging cradle applied to the back of the device, and if we double tap the home screen, you can see that it's actually charging. Now, my first thoughts were I would have liked to have seen wireless charging on the Gear S, and I guess in all reality the Gear S does have wireless charging because you can take this cradle with you anywhere and charge the device without any wires. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap this one up for me. This has been the full review of the Samsung Gear S smartwatch. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, now's a great time to hit that subscribe button and you will be notified in your inbox every time I upload a new video. If you enjoyed this content, let me know by hitting that thumbs up button down below. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Aaron, and I'll see you guys on the next one.